Yes, people, welcome to Albert J TV. Match preview time again. Group D, last remaining fixture, England versus Czech Republic. But before we get into anything, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit that intro. Yes, people, here we're back again. Match preview time, as I said. Thought I'd get that nice little intro in like I have done for the whole of the series so far. People, England's last remaining group fixture, all to play for off the back of the draw with the Tartan Army. So, people, I've got my amazing co-host again, Guna Souls. Brav, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, some good news. Well, not good news, should I say? Some news has broken out about obviously certain individuals being excluded from this game. Obviously, we'll get our thoughts and everything on that as well. But it's a must no lose situation because we can't lose. If we draw, it's enough, but we have to win or draw, and that's the situation we put ourselves in. So we'll get into it obviously with our thoughts in a minute.
Yeah, no worries. People, like I always say, smash that like button if you haven't done it already, because I do not know what you're waiting for. But before I introduce my amazing guest panel in Tom and Lottie, if you didn't know what to do by now, you should know by now. And there you have it once again, people. I will be putting this down on. I will put this on my Anchor and Spotify. So, audio listeners, I am not leaving you out. Trust me. First, you're going to introduce. We've got two. Well, we're gonna actually let's bring her in first. This girl's ripping up the YouTube streets, as my friend Jacino says from stateside. So Sol's bringing Lottie. Lottie, welcome.
Hey, Albert, how are you? Sol's?
Good.
All good.
New background that you can both see, and people who are I have not moved into a mansion because I live in Southeast London in New Cross. So to make of that what you want to make of it.
Is that just for the tax man? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So new surroundings, but I'm happy, stressful but happy. Lottie, welcome aboard. Firstly, let me introduce you. Where can the guys find you for your amazing work?
I've recently joined Canon Chatter TV. I did start my own show, but I've literally only done one episode at the moment. We have got more episodes planned, but at the moment it's really busy time for me. So I do apologise, but it will be up and running next season, which is exciting.
No need to apologise, Lottie. Your face is everywhere. Big up Canon Chatter and Lottie. But further ado, we're gonna bring in recommended by Guna Souls to come onto my channel, but more than welcome.
I'll give him a bit of an introduction there.
Go on, bro.
Brother from another brother, man. Honestly, the guy, when I met him, one of the funniest youths. Doesn't look his age. Stewie Little, Team Tom. The guy who drinks, who looks 12. I don't know. Don't worry, he is legal. He can drink before people get onto him. Yeah, it is the guy who's also been ripping up the scene since he's come on, and that's my brother, man, from another mother. Like I said, Tom Little.
I like how Lottie got the really nice intro. I got he could be underage when he drinks. He could be.
But that's what you're known for. That's what you're known for, isn't it?
Have me on.
No, much pleasure, man. Like I said, I trust Souls to when he says to me, I've got someone to bring on, I trust him, because if I didn't, I wouldn't believe you in the first place. But no, now big up to the guys in chat already. It's quite lively with Georgina, Holly, who's in there. We've got Sideline Talk podcast. Busy. Here we go. So yeah, firstly, guys, I want to kick off with it's sort of a loaded question, but I'm going to kick off with Tom first. Not so much just a Scotland game. What have you made of England's first two performances on reflection a few days later?
Nervous. We should be one of the favourites really going into this tournament with the quality we have. But in reality, we've treated this like we treated it like the World Cup in 2018.
Yeah.
Like we're playing with Eric Dyer again. We should be taking the game to people. You know, we did it in times against Croatia and we dominated them. But against Scotland, we were just expecting them to roll over. That's never going to happen. So I think Czech Republic has to be the changing moment where we go, right, we're going on the front foot now. Because I get you want to keep your players' energy high for the later stages, but there's no point in keeping the energy high if you don't make it there.
Yeah. Tom, just to add further to that before I bring in Lottie. Listen, I don't go by what every pundit says, but believe me, I don't care how good they were, the professional footballers. But because some people have been quite critical. I mean, for example, Souness was talking about England. He didn't think England were that great against Croatia. Do you think he's got a point, or do you think he's been a little bit harsh?
It depends on what your expectations were for that game. I went going into it expecting a free-flowing game. I was expecting the game that we got against Croatia. The one I'm disappointed in is Scotland, because I thought with it being a derby, we'd go out and actually try and give them a game. But we were just expecting them to have stars in their eyes always England. Let's just let them through and let them score 2 and just try and get out of there with our dignity intact. That's never going to happen in these tournaments. So I hope we see a change against the Czechs.
Absolutely. Lottie, before I come to you, I mean, I kind of, when we did, me and Sol did the match review, brilliant match review actually. I love Colin, Scottish bro, Scott down under in Australia, and Liam for anything Arsenal. I said personally, and it's not so much off the back of the Scotland game. I'm doing it over both games against Croatia and Scotland. I would make 4 changes personally. I think the front 4 completely needs to be revamped. That's nothing against Foden. But yeah, Lottie, sort of the same question, but to add a bit more to it. When you saw the performance against Scotland, was it that big a surprise to you?
To be honest with you, no. It was very underwhelming. And I did expect a bit more fight because, as Tom just said, it's meant to be a derby. Looking at the stats-wise, before that game, we've only ever had 3 draws out of 114 clashes. So, the stats were in our favour, but stats always paint a pretty picture. That's the problem. It depends if the players turn up or not. I mean, I've got a thing for, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've got a thing for tweeting Sterling. No end product every time he shoots on that goal, and it tends to work when he scores. But it kind of like shuts me up. But he just vanished in that game. He was invisible. I forgot he was playing. And I do feel for that change. Grealish should have come on for Sterling, not Foden, because Foden was everywhere. He had a great game, absolute great game.
No, well said. Big up to you guys. People, if you're just tuning in now, follow my esteemed guests on their Twitter handles going on the bottom of the screen. With Sol's my co-host as well. So before you come with a question, I want to ask you, mate. I think looking at it back over the last few days now, particularly the midfield, to be honest, when I saw the Scotland lineup, I thought, you know what? These guys have come to play, man. He's made the necessary changes. I think he probably thought he made a slight mistake in not starting Che Adams from the start. I thought him and Dykes gave England's defence problems. But I was more shocked, to be honest with you, Tom and Lottie as well, that England's midfield got outplayed, man, particularly by Billy Gilmore. So, Solskjaer, what's your thoughts, mate, sort of a few days further on now, mate?
I think my thoughts haven't really much changed. The problem is we're trying to play this sort of free-flowing, attempting to anyway, play this sort of free-flowing, counter-attacking football, and then we play Sterling. Like, nothing against him. Look, he can be as good as he wants, for Man City, but that Man City team is world-class. Like, there is not a single player who you can sit there. You can have a debate about a few of them, but most of their team is world-class. Even their bench players, some of them coming on and replacing, like, even De Bruyne having an injury, like, they'll get Bernardo Silva to come in for him. Or, like, Gundogan comes in and replaces. Like, the quality plays regardless of who plays. When you come to England, like, I say it very lightly, but you do rely on your big guns like your Sterling, your Kanes, if Grealish plays, Grealish is, in this case, like Mount and Foden, like have become sort of two players that were really paramount to the way we play. But none of them have really stepped up and took that, sort of position. Like, and I was saying it, and I don't even say this as a joke. I genuinely mean this. Grealish, in 25 minutes of coming on in that game, has played better than 180 minutes of any other English player, and that's saying something. Like, when
it's the cutting, bro.
Yeah.
Just before you come back in again, like, I don't know. We did the watch along with yourself, obviously, Kesh and Ryan, and even after the first, I would say the first 30, half an hour, 40 minutes, it was crying out for Jack Grealish. Like I said to you, I didn't recognise Luke Shaw and Reece James. Those are not the fullbacks I've been seeing all season, which I thought was going to help Harry Kane, but it didn't at all.
They looked timid. I don't know what it was. They looked I was saying it in the watch along. I don't know whether the occasion got to, especially Reece James. With Luke Shaw, he's a little bit more experienced. He's played a little bit more football. Reece James obviously breaking through the scenes kind of recently. So you can understand, like, an occasion like that, getting, especially Scotland. Like, Scotland's a rivalry. For the English and the Scots, it's a big game, regardless of the quality difference. It's just, I don't know. They're failing to, like. The thing, England can actually win this Euros. It's just Southgate that's preventing it. That's the problem. And I was saying it to you. None of us have coaching badges. None of it. Well, I don't. Well, I don't. I know Albert, you don't. I don't know about the other two, but I don't. I can tell you now, I don't have any. Not even a level 1, like a beginner's. Yeah. And I can tell you what changes were needed to be made.
Yeah. 100%.
And when that change happened, when Grealish got brought on, you seen a big change. When, like, even when Rashford came on, there started being a positive outlook. And that's the thing. It's like, it baffles me how you're getting paid, what is it, like 3-4 million a year to not make the right decisions. It's just...
No, what's it? So, you're going to come in with a question for the amazing panel, mate. Go on, bro.
I may as well kick it off, obviously, with the big news. Pretty much the whole comments are screaming for Grealish to come in. Main reason behind that is... a statement that was released by England not long ago. I think it was some point today at 12 o'clock or something. Yeah. Obviously, basically, to sum it all up, it is on the screen, but to sum it up, as a precaution, Ben Chilwell and Mason Mount are isolating after interaction with Scotland's Billy Gilmore, who's tested positive, obviously, for COVID. Yeah. Obviously, they both have been now excluded from the team, and everyone else has had a lateral flow test, and they will have another one before the game, but they've all seemed to come back negative. So the rest of them seem so far that they don't need to isolate. With that in mind, not much so Ben Chilwell, because Trippier can come in and Luke Shaw can play. It's not really too big of a deal. But that Mason Mount position's now open. That number 10, or you can move Foden into the middle, and a winger position's now open. Who do you want to see? Like, logically, forget about... It doesn't have to be Grealish, by the way. It could be someone else who you're thinking that could come in and complement the likes of Kane, Sterling, and Foden. Let's see if that's what he goes for. And all he does is changes that number 10. Logically, who do you want to see, or what do you want to see in that sort of attacking change? I'll throw it to Lottie first.
If I'm honest with you, I'd already pick Grealish. I mean, he's
what other changes would you make, or if any?
If any, I think I'd probably put Trippier back on the right. As much as I enjoyed James playing, I'd probably bring in Trippier. And also, it's going to have to be Henderson, unfortunately. I'm not his biggest fan, because obviously Mount's not going to be able to play. And then probably take out Sterling as well. I've lost faith in him. I've always said he's got no end product. So, as I've just said about 5 minutes ago, but
no, it's fair play. So before you come in, Tom, Sterling, I don't know, it's a weird one with him. Tom, obviously you're a Liverpool fan.
Let's just say it's Raheem Iwobi, isn't it?
No, it's just, you know what it is? I don't understand. I don't know, what's Sterling now? 25, 26, I think he is.
Isn't he older? I'm sure he's older.
I don't think he is. No, like, sort of coming to Tom, like, I don't know. Sometimes I look at Raheem Sterling, I think to myself, surely it's got to kick in when you get into the final third of what you're going to do. I can't understand how he's not grasped that at club level and international level.
Raheem Sterling has gotten away with it for the past couple of seasons because he plays in that Man City team, and he's got Kevin De Bruyne putting in delightful balls to him in the 6-yard box, and he scores 15 goals a season from an average position of about 8 yards. But people don't look at that. People look at it as 15 goals. Oh, Raheem Sterling's having a blinder of a season here. Look at him getting all these goals. He's never done it for England. At a major tournament. This was his first major tournament goal. He's been to 2014, 2016, 2018, and was a ghost through. He's now starting. He's played 195 minutes, while Jadon Sancho, who got 36 goal contributions this season, has played 0.
Madness.
You can have favourites as a manager, but not when it's damaging the team this much. He should not have lasted past half time in the Croatia game. He should not have lasted past half time in the Scotland game. But he won't play against the Czechs because he'll want to rest him for the knockouts. And it just doesn't make any sense. I don't get how we pay our manager £10 million a year to not watch the Bundesliga.
Wait, he gets paid 10 million?
9 to 10 million pounds a year.
Southgate, wow. Amazing.
Holy crap. I thought people were chatting crap when they said that because I was like, nah, you can't, surely not that idiot. I could understand someone with
we pay the managers the most as a nation.
Yeah, madness. So good replies, guys. I think to add further to it, I mentioned it on. I probably mentioned it on quite a few shows doing this Euro 2020 content series. I think particularly the last one. I've seen a lot of England over the years, a hell of a lot. I've seen ex-players talk about England not retaining the ball very well. I'm talking about greats here. Glenn Hoddle talked about playing for England for a number of years. He did, and just England never controlling the ball in the middle of the park, or their ball retention is not good enough. We've had ex-managers, cover England in tournaments. They've seen it firsthand, i.e. Roy Hodgson. Gareth Southgate when working on the TV. Like they've both been in that position where someone's got to let the shackles off. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Until England get a manager, it doesn't have to be English or if it's or if they go down the foreigner route again. Until England get a coach who is going to be even Souls, Lottie, Tom, even maybe 10-20% a bit more risk adverse, you're never going to get the best out of these England players in generations to come. It's just facts. I've seen too many tournaments where the same thing happens again. But it's weird because
our problem is we've got too many expressive players. You can't sit there and tell them to contain that, and that's part of the issue. Like we're not a ball retain. We're not Spain. We're not Germany who can play this sort of let's hold the ball. So why not use that to our advantage? There's a lot of I always bring it back to, when Celtic beat Barcelona on multiple occasions on 15% possession. And Barcelona had 85 and they beat them 2-0. There was one game in the Champions League, Celtic needed to win. So I don't know why he's so I need to ball retain. You don't have to. Yes, against the bigger teams, you're not going to have the ball. So have a plan B. And sometimes, when you're seeing things go wrong, like we did against Scotland, where we needed to let someone come in and just because Rice, in my opinion, as much as people wanted to slay him after the Scotland game, he can be a lone DM. He can break that attack down on his own. He's fine doing that. So bring in the likes of Grealish and then put Mount and Foden as your two midfielders and then bring Grealish into the wings. Why Sancho why he said Sancho hasn't played? Because he hasn't got the experience. That's actually what he came out and said.
When did he say that?
He said it on Sky Sports, reported it, that he said the reason Sancho hasn't played is because he hasn't got the experience.
So why did he take Jude Bellingham then?
This is what I mean. Nothing the guy says correlates to what he's doing. Like, it's mind-boggling.
So you make a good point, because I don't know if Tom and Lotto agree. I'll bring you in. The thing is, the frustrating thing is, Southgate's not a stupid guy. He speaks very, very well. You see what you train these guys day in, day out. So I can't understand how, for the life of me, with the Scotland game, you take Phillips or you take Phillips or you take Rice off. To me, it was just obvious. I mean, when he brought on Rashford for Kane, I thought that's not the substitution I would have made. You bring on Calvert-Lewin. You bring on Sancho. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But yeah, talking to you two guys, what have you made of? Why do you think, with Harry Kane in particular, our England captain, why has he looked so off the pace? Starting with Tom.
It's like he thinks he's playing for Tottenham. It's like he thinks he's got Harry Winks as his chief creator behind him. He needs to realise that we have Grealish, we have Mount, we have Sancho, who will create for him. You need to go back to being a number 9, not a number 10 or 8, or sometimes even a 6 that he likes to play. Get in the box, because when you're in there, you are arguably the best finisher in the world, but you're too busy trying to create the play. And then when it gets wide, when it gets them positions where the creative players are on it looking for a pass, the striker's running into the box rather than being in there moving around trying to get free.
Yeah.
So it baffles me. It baffles me.
I'm going to touch on. Lottie, come in. Sorry,
No, it's fine. Tom hit it spot on. I mean, I was watching both games. I was watching him, and I'm thinking, why is he playing so deep? He should be back up in that box. He doesn't need to be in that midfield at all. We've got the player to cover it.
Lottie, you know what it is, Lottie and Tom. I sort of said it on the review, so I was going to remember. Kane's not where he's adapted his game, right? Kane's not a Drogba or a Didier Costa where they want to play up against the centre half. So I don't think it's a case of him not listening to Southgate. I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. I just think he's not going to be that striker that's going to go up against the centre halves. He just isn't. So what the problem with him doing that is you're occupying the space of the Fodens, of the Grealishes and the Sterlings and the Sanchos. So if people think he's going to stop doing that, he's not. But it's again, like I said, when we're playing Reece James and Luke Shaw, that should have worked for him. There's no disrespect to Scotland. There's no way that should not have worked. And it was the complete opposite effect. With the Southgate comment, cheers, Rich, and big up Rich over and over again. You know what it is with some England managers, right? They're right, and it depends who's at the FA, to be fair. Well, they always will take yes men. Hodgson was a yes man. There's no way he should have got another tournament after that 2014 World Cup. I'm sorry. England were out after 2 games of the World Cup, and he still got another tournament. And then we lost to Iceland. So they're never gonna, and I'm going way back. You guys have heard of Brian Clough. He's a prime example, right? He would never have got the England job, and Rich will agree with me, because he would have gone in and he would have caused carnage. They're not going to take that unless they completely revamp the FA. We're never ever going to get like I don't know, for example, a Conte type, or whether you hate him or you love him, a Mourinho type. It's just not going to happen, man. Maybe when I'm long and gone off this earth, it's going to happen. But in the next 10, 15 years, it's just not going to happen. The problem Southgate has, and why he gets criticised so much, in my opinion, is this is the best group of England players that I've seen. Probably 1990 was a good side under Robson. Euro 96 under Venables. I've not seen a better England. You could argue even Sven's 2004, 2006 sides, but he was the biggest fraud out of all of them, in my opinion. I'm sorry. He completely wasted a generation of players. But
yeah,
if England don't make the semis, do you think it's clear cut that he's gone? Lottie?
Definitely. I mean, I think when the last World Cup, I mean, it's the only reason I'm watching at the moment. I gave up on England a very, very, very long time ago because of the fraud.
What point made you give up on them? Tell me. There's quite a few occasions, but go on.
Oh, do you know what? It's just all the build up to the hope, and then it's just the same. It's the same. It was the same rubbish every season. Not every season. Like every competition. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't even watch the international breaks. I don't see the point. They just don't interest me. The only time I watch international football is in these competitions.
Yeah.
The only reason, Lottie, why I watch international football mainly as well, Tom, is because I need a break from Arsenal. I know you're not an Arsenal fan, Tom, but I need a break.
To be honest, I feel like I've been watching Arsenal for the last week, like the last few games, backwards, sideways.
Yeah. Tom, I'm going to bring in this question before Souls brings in another question, so he might have to think about it. He might change. But Jake, big up Jake Clegg, my bro, man. This is a good question, actually, because there are English managers out there, but people are very quick to they are, and you know, if you're on the whole, it's got to be English thing. There are guys out there, but are England prepared to do that? So, who do you think is anybody you think English-wise that potentially or not really?
Graham Potter, I think. No, at the end of the day, no England man is going to turn down the English job.
No chance.
It's the biggest job an Englishman can have. So we could easily get him in, but they just need. With the whole yes man thing, we're never going to win anything.
No.
If our manager's a yes man and we're being managed by the FA, you're paying someone £10 million to do press conferences at that point. It doesn't make sense. Just trust the manager. I've said for the longest time I want Mourinho in because international football perfectly suits him now.
Yeah,
he doesn't have long enough to ruin a squad's morale. That's the big point. He's not with the squad for a year. He's with the squad for 2 months. So he can have the 2 months of happiness and then they can go. But if it has to go to England, it's got to be Graham Potter.
Yeah. Would you give Tom? Just before I bring Lottie in, just get your thoughts, Lottie, and Solve as well. Some people mentioned Eddie Howe as well. What do you make of that?
I think his time's been and went. I think he's a good manager, but he had his chances around like 2018. If he'd made his interest like clear, then he probably would have got the job. But I think there's something about Graham Potter's teams that just is better than Eddie Howe's Bournemouth.
He's gone and done. Potter's gone and done. He's got the guy's gone and done his work experience, as people say. Unfortunately, our manager's doing that at Arsenal. Unfortunately, but that's not his fault. You know, like you say, Tom, if you get offered a certain job, you're not going to turn that down. But so yeah, same thing to you, Lottie. Do you agree with Tom what he said about sort of Eddie Howe and Potter, or are you kind of looking at it?
You know what? I wouldn't have minded seeing Eddie Howe in charge of England. I think he could have brought out a different side to these players that we've got. But as Tom said, if he really wanted it, he should have made it known in 2018.
Yeah, don't be afraid. Yeah, say you want it, 100%.
If you want something, go for it. End of story.
Yeah. Allardyce was very he most definitely wanted the job, but yeah, he lost that unfortunately for reasons which were not football, and also Glenn Hoddle as well lost his job for not football.
Do you know what I think? Who would be interesting? Has done a really great job is Stephen Gerrard.
Yeah,
I think that would be interesting.
I don't want his career ruined now. Just go off to like Newcastle or something. Yeah. Go do something nice over there, then come home.
No, I hear what you're saying, Tom.
That England job with a barge pole. It's.
Do you know what my perfect English setup is? Like this is if I was the FA, this is genuinely what I would do. And I've tweeted this, so I think some people are knowing what's coming up. I've actually said I would take Emma Hayes as the England manager. I just think the way she plays her football and the way that she's trying to implement her philosophy at Chelsea would really, really suit this English setup. And then what I would do is I'd bring Frank Lampard in as the youth developer, so under 23s or head of youth development for England. Reason why I would do that is because we can see he does get the best out of young players. You see Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham. Yeah. That's it. The thing is, it's funny how a manager who didn't spend money done really well. The minute he spent money, he done shit. Like, it's so weird. Like, it boggled. I was like, you know what? Lampard's got £200 million investment. Surely, like, you know, he done well with youth players who, I wouldn't say they were written off, but no one really truly knew what they could do. Like Mount done it at Derby, said there was a chip on his shoulder to come into the Premier League and let's see you do it. And he did it. And he has been doing it. You know, well, Tammy Abraham's kind of fallen off. Probably not really his own fault, but you know, we've seen how he's developed even the likes of Gilmore to become a decent player. Reece James has become a really good player.
So massive shout out to Callum. Love Callum.
Yeah, man.
Callum and CFP guy. Yeah, brilliant broadcasters and interviews. Guys, go and check them out on Twitter, man. Great stuff.
So yeah, that's what I would do. I know it wouldn't happen because it's probably going to be really difficult to, unfortunately, in this sort of state, to get like a woman to become a manager. But I would really love it, just because I'm just purely looking at it, how she plays her football and the way she understands it, and the English like talent that we have it's perfect. It's like getting a Graham Potter in. Like, it's just perfect because the way they want to play their football is exactly the strengths that we have. So it's one of those, though, isn't it? Like, the common sense answers are never going to happen.
It wouldn't. The FA would need a humongous.
Just on that real quick, I'd love her to be the England manager, but I wouldn't want her to be the first female manager in England to take that England job, because you'd never see scrutiny like it. Every little thing she does will be analysed. It will be horrific. All the stereotypes, everything will come out. And she'd be judged harshly for just doing a job. But if it was a male manager, it'd be perfectly fine. So I'd love her as the England manager, but I'd want another woman to come in and manage, maybe lower down in the leagues, just to sort of get the idea already in the English game.
No, 100%. So next question. Just quite a general question. What have you, when you sort of saw England's group, probably obviously before the tournament, and obviously what you see now, have the Czech Republic surprised you how well they've done? Because they have, to me. That's no disrespect to them, because the Kufal's there, the right back, Souček's there, who hasn't scored a goal in the tournament yet. Could come Friday, it could come tomorrow, but and obviously Patrick Schick's done fantastic, man. Have you been? Sort of taking that question, and also, what do you think? How do you think tomorrow's game is going to go? Kicking off with Lottie.
If I'm honest with you, I did think the Czechs were going to finish bottom of the group. I know a lot of people would look at me and think, "Are you crazy?" I thought Scotland were going to do a little bit better and finish in third, but we don't know. The Schick goal was amazing, but I still don't understand why Marshall was off his lines. It just doesn't make sense. I think tomorrow they are going to bring the game to us if we don't actually do anything, especially if we do a very underwhelming, boring performance again.
Yeah, Lottie, to come in, because the people saying that they're going to play for a draw. I think no, I don't buy that, man. I don't buy that. I've seen enough from the Czechs to say, you know what,
I'd rather draw. I'd rather draw with a fight than go out just defending. It's always better that way.
Yeah, Holly would be funny, innit?
Holly, I'm still waiting for my invite to the Agronbar bar. So yes, we'll sort that out sometime. Social distance one, of course, but of course, shout Emma Hayes. You know what? It's funny. You know what? I think there's something about. I think she rubbed people up the wrong way. I don't know what it is, but she's got that in her to succeed. You can see it. You can't probably put a word to it, but
we spoke about it on the terrace because I mentioned it there as well. And I said, it'd be the biggest, with them booing the BLM, taking the knee, and them being so, we know. I'm not saying it's all English fan, but certain sections of how sort of backwards they are. It'd be the biggest FU, just a big middle finger at them and be like, you know what, fuck yous, we're gonna change the way we do things. And it'd just be so wicked. I know, I get Tom's point. I think, it is, but it'd be so good to see. I would love it in my lifetime. Yeah, whether it's the England jump, let's put that aside. But for someone like her, or someone who really has made a good impact in football in general, her punditry's been really good. She's a brilliant manager. What Chelsea have done, won the Women's Super League, won the Premier League. And then she's really built a successful team. And for someone to come in and just come into the men's game and just be like, you know what, we're going to take over. That would be friggin' amazing to see. And I wish it happens in my lifetime.
It will be, listen, anything is possible. Anything is possible. But guys, for us sort of get your opinions on the group table and England's potential opponents, should I say. Guys, smash the like button if you haven't already. And like I always say, if you don't know what to do, you should know what to do by now. And there you have it once again, people. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow my amazing guests on their Twitter handles going along the bottom of the screen. Like I said, I will put this out on my Anchor and Spotify later for the audio listeners. So, guys, I'm going to bring it in. Actually, so I'm going to need to sort of kick it off, but I'm going to get the graph up with the table as it stands now, and also England's potential opponents. And sort of looking on it before I came on live for the live stream with you guys. Whatever permutation, England have got it tough. Whatever permutation. Get up on the screen now at the moment. So yeah, Tom's coming to you, mate. So I should have kind of got your opinions on sort of the last question. I know you touched on it a little bit, but as the group stands at the moment, Czech Republic will apparently people will say they'll only play for a point. How do you think tomorrow's game will go? And also, who do you think England will potentially face?
The game tomorrow will be another Scotland game.
Oh dear.
Probably he'll go cautious because he won't want to lose in case we drop down to third, and then he'll come out after the game and say it was a good point. I know we've got a tough draw, but you've got to beat the best teams if you want to win these tournaments. And then he'll go cautious against the round 16 team, and we'll go out, and then he'll go, "Oh, we weren't ready anyway." Just take the game to them. Just take the game to them, and we'll beat them. Because at the end of the day, our firepower is more than Czech Republic's defence.
100%.
That should be common knowledge. But with the group.
Sorry, Tom. Before you come in again, sorry, Tom. Yeah. So if England win the group, just to bring you in, mate. France, Germany, Portugal, Hungary, runners up. If England finish runners up, Sweden, Spain, Poland, and Slovakia.
A draw's not a bad result, then, is it? I don't want to play Portugal or France while we're as blunt as we are in the attack.
Yeah,
I think we could, if we played Spain are even worse than us in attack at times.
Yeah, so. I've not been. Listen, I understand people go through cycles and transitions, but I've not been impressed at all with Spain. Really,
I don't get how he's still playing this much. It's like us with Sterling. I genuinely think Morata's just like a money laundering thing. How he's got £200 million in transfer fees. Crazy.
There's another 50 million potentially going his way.
So before you come, sorry, can bring back Souls and that time I'm going to bring in Lottie. Has Adama Traore done something wrong to Luis Enrique? Why he's not playing? It's baffling. I'm watching it. I'm thinking you're struggling to score goals. Yes, you got possession. You're always going to have possession because you're Spanish. You're technically gifted, but you're not doing anything. Stretch the game. Listen, like Sol said it. Like we don't have coaching badges, but I don't understand what some of these managers, young managers, by the way, coaches, are not seeing to make these changes. What's this guy done to not get like 10 minutes even?
And Enrique's just a weird one, isn't it? He's only taken 24 out of his 26. No Real Madrid players, even though there's a number of decent Spanish Madrid players. Spain in transition, but it just seems like he's picked favourites this tournament to try and make a point. And Spain have an alright chance. They could have done it in Italy. They have the quality to do what Italy have done, but they just haven't taken it.
No, I will say so. Lottie, sort of bringing you in the same question. Like I said, I've reeled off the potential England's last 16 opponents. I don't think it's even a case of posing the question to you, who do you want to avoid? Because, I mean,
we all want to avoid the group of death. We'll get destroyed.
France, Germany, yeah,
don't want anything to do that. Although I think we'd have a decent chance against the Germans for some reason. We seem to turn up against the Germans because of that age-old rivalry. But it's a weird one with them, though.
Would you have said that about fancying the Germans if they hadn't put 4 past Portugal?
Probably not. Probably not.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I wasn't surprised Germany won. I was very surprised by the scoreline. They could have scored more, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
They ripped them to pieces.
No, definitely. I mean, I've watched the France and Germany game, and I know he's not there, but all I saw was that goal was a Mustafi goal. That was a classic Mustafi goal, and he wasn't even there. I mean, that's what it was, and that's what he does. I mean, I just couldn't believe the way that the goal went in, and how France didn't score. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I'll take Spain or Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden's a funny one, you know. That's if England get runners. Yeah, if England get runners up. Yeah. Sweden's a funny one. England, you could even argue over history that's England's bogey team. I know England beat them in the last World Cup in 2018, but if you actually look at the fixture history between the two nations, England really struggle against the Scandinavian sides. I don't know what it is. Maybe because they kind of play a more English style of football that's the sort of the Swedens and the Norways of yesteryear, should I say? But sort of coming to you, bro. You might want to pose a question to the guys and think about it at the same time answering my question. What's your biggest concern? And I'm probably answering your own question, my own question to you. If England play a Spain or a France or Germany, Portugal, with what you see so far.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's as mad as it sounds, right? This sort of 4-2-3-1 or 3-4-3 could do us good against those kinds of teams.
Yeah,
because we've got to go with the underdog mentality. We've got to do what, and I've said it, like especially the 3-4-3. The 3-4-3 is the 5-2-3, whatever you kind of want to define it as. Has won so many tournaments. Like, let's go all the way back to like Sarri, Conte, recently with Arteta. Tuchel's won the Champions League with it. So many managers have actually implemented it and gone on to winning things, whether it's major tournaments or whether it's just like, smaller cups. It's done good things. So there is potential there if we play the right teams, if we can play the right systems in those. The problem is Southgate. And when it comes to sort of, let's talk about the doables, which is Spain and Sweden. On paper, we should be beating them. Spain don't have their best player. And I don't care what people want to say. In my eyes, I've been raving and I've been absolutely praising this kid. Unfortunately, he got a freak of an injury, which he's now needed 2 operations and he's still not back, which is Ansu Fati. Like, for me, if Ansu Fati was playing, they would have been the Italy of this tournament because he is that good. He is, mark my words, if he comes back, okay after the operations, he'll be the next Messi of the generation. Like, he's that good. Like, when Messi was playing poor, he was dragging them. In that El Clasico, we didn't have a hope and chance until he started performing. So that's who they're really missing. And I think Luis Enrique betted his house on him being back because he was supposed to be back 2-3 months ago, but then something happened, some complications happened, and he wasn't back. And Sweden at the minute is literally Isaac and Inshallah in it. Like, they are literally just passing him the ball, and he's doing some Messi-esque runs. Like, some of the runs he's done this tournament,
Sweden they're so negative. And that's not just this tournament. I've seen them. Like I said it the other day, like sort of your Switzerland and your Swedens and your Austrians, they get to tournaments, they don't come out and play, they sit behind the ball. It's
what Turkey did. Like, Turkey were playing football before they came into the tournament, and then all of a sudden you're very negative. Like, I didn't recognize them. But then when it comes to kind of like Germany and France, like, I don't know. Like, I know it sounds mad, right? Because I'm not trying to be positive for the sake of it, but we can, like, France have got a weird defense. They've got a very strange. They've got a world-class midfield, and on paper a world-class attack, which hasn't really flowed at the minute. No. Maybe it will come out. We don't know. But Benzema hasn't really lived up to the expectation that we thought he would do. Griezmann's been Mbappe's doing Mbappe. Like, he's trying. That's all he's doing, really. The midfield's been amazing. Pogba's been really good. Kante's been good. Rabiot's just there to obviously fill the number. And he fits that sort of 3. But that defence, man, like, it's not done great. Like, you can rip it, and it's easy to do. How Kimpembe didn't get in front of Viola for that goal, I could still to this day not understand. The guy was there. All he had to do was just a little shoulder barge, and he would have cut him off the ball. But he started running alongside him. And I was like, what are you doing? So there is a possibility to beat France. I think they've had a weird tournament. I think they've not underperformed because they did beat Germans and then they drew to Hungary. They've always got a freak result in them. But then Germany's a weird one because, like, we've seen it. This is what like Lowe needed to do: overload the box, bring your midfielders in, and compact their attack. And that's what they did, and they done it really well. That first like disallowed goal from Gosens, what a fucking finish that was! I was like, why did there's certain goals? Yeah, you just like it's tournament football, it's summer. Let's just allow it. Like it doesn't matter. Forget the rules for a second. That's just too good to disallow. But yeah, like you said, Germans are Scotland are a rivalry. We didn't turn up, so will we turn up against the Germans? That's really the question. Second could be good for us, but I don't want to play for a draw. I just want to win. That's just the way I go into tournaments. I don't care about who we can potentially get. We'll figure that out when we get there. But I've got a feeling it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, someone said a 1-1. I've seen 1-1 been floating around on the social medias quite a bit.
Because you know what? I remember me and you were having a conversation about Czech, and I was like, do you know what? Actually, I've just looked up their squad. I didn't realize how many decent plays they've had. Because I was like, you know what? The keeper for I can't pronounce like Slasic or whatever his name is. That plays. He's a good keeper, like a really good goalkeeper. Then they've got like Sufal, who's been obviously a revelation for West Ham. Obviously with Souček, them just assisting each other for goals. Then the Slick, I had an idea of who he was. I didn't really know a lot about him. But obviously he's become, sort of the not player of the tournament, but the breakout player. Like everyone's like, oh my God, we need to sign him. Like, that one player in the Euros comes out. So they're a good team. And the weird thing is they haven't scored more corners. That's what shocks me. Like they've only scored one header.
Big side, yeah. And
we may struggle because we struggle like with aerial duels in it. So it's going to be a good game. That's all I'll say.
No, what's that? So to finish up, guys, I want to ask you a load of questions. I'm going to come to Tom first. What team has impressed you so far from what you've seen in the tournament, and score predictions for England, Czech Republic tomorrow, mate?
Wales have really impressed me, to be fair. I thought this was just going to be a fall-off one, after the high of 2016.
Euros, yeah.
Even though they've only, picked up 4 points, they've been really good. Danny Ward has been really impressive in goal. Daniel James has been vital for them. Gareth Bale seems to actually want to play football, which is always good to see. Ramsey's been good. I don't think they'll make it as far as they did last time, but certainly something to be impressed by. But obviously, I didn't expect this off them. I don't know if anyone else did. But Jesus Christ. That eight goals scored, none conceded.
Yeah.
They've been immense.
2011, yeah. No,
the only concern for them is, have they burnt out? Have they had their high too early? Because they've got expectations now going into this knockout stage. And score predictions for tomorrow. I'm going to backwards and go 2-1 or 2-0.
Good shout, Tom. Good shout. Lottie, come to you. Who's impressed you the most in terms of teams or team and score prediction for tomorrow?
Again, it's a tie between Wales and Italy. Italy have just been a different beast, but I do feel they haven't really come out of second gear yet. They haven't been properly challenged.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see who they get in the next round and see how they perform, because they've been phenomenal to watch. Yeah, sorry guys.
That happens all the time. Don't worry, it's fine.
They've been great to watch. I've enjoyed every single game that I've watched with them. As for England, I'm going to go for the draw, 1-1 draw, 0-0 draw. I'd like a win, but I just can't see it.
So, did you say 1-1? Did you say 1-1, Souls?
That's what I think will happen, just because of the way both teams are. I just think it's just got a draw written all over it in my eyes. So, probably. I'm going to back England and I'll say 2-1, but I do think realistically it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I'm going to stick my neck on. I'm going to go England 2-1. I think they will get it done as long as Southgate makes the necessary changes. I personally would expect to see minimum 3 changes. Minimum.
What would they be though?
I expect Grealish to come in. I think he would even be tempted to put Maguire in, but I don't think he would, just because you're taking a centre half out of the team. With England, have had 2 back-to-back clean sheets. As much as you want to criticise what you see of England, they've conceded the goal. So that would be harsh on Mings, because it would be him that would go missing. But
Albert, would you bring in Saka?
100%.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. I'd bring him in. I just don't think Southgate would, because I think Sancho needs to come in, and Grealish for me. Definitely those two.
Still shocking that Sancho hasn't touched the pitch in the
Definitely.
Not even off the bench, like flipping hell.
Genuinely, like the most creative teenager we've ever seen in football, and Southgate sat there going, "No."
He wasn't even in the squad for the first game. How mad is that?
I haven't had faith in Southgate ever since the provisional squad thing. That just showed me he lacks the balls to do anything. You know, he only put Trent in that team because he was pushed to. He had no other choice. Everyone wanted Trent in, and he was blessed that he got injured. Because I still stand by this. Trent would not have made that 26-man squad. Like he only got picked for that because he was forced to. If it was just down to Southgate, Grealish and Sancho probably wouldn't have been in.
Yeah, and the thing is, you make a good point.
It just baffles me.
You make a good point.
I don't get how we pay a manager £10 million to not renew his BT subscription and watch the Bundesliga. I don't get how Fikayo Tomori's not been a part of any squad either.
Yeah,
he's been tearing up Italy.
You make a good point, because what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. I think it's gone out my head, but yeah, that'll come back to me probably when the stream's done. But no, I want to thank you guys for coming on. Brilliant panel, and Tom and Lottie. Big ups to the people in the chat. Great comments. People watching this on YouTube Live and Facebook Live as well. Thank you. Smash the like button, like Sideline Talk Podcast said, if you haven't already. But Tom, thanks for coming on, my bro. Where can the guys find you, my friend?
Just at Tom little double underscore on Twitter.
Nice one, mate. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it, man. Great chat. Lottie, YouTube streets. Come on, man. What's happening? Tell people where they can find you.
Well, you can come and join me at 9 o'clock. Got the episode 5 of the Rumour Mill starting at 9. Be me, Stephen, and G doing our weekly roundup for the Arsenal rumours. You can find me on my Twitter handle, which is Lottie with 2 I's _B, because someone beat me to the normal spelling.
Typical.
But yeah, no, come and check out Cannon Chatter and catch up on the latest episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, my people. Now, thank you for coming on once again. So, my bro, many more streams to come, man.
Yeah, man, we got one. We got the watch along tomorrow, and obviously we got the reviews coming. Yeah, it's been good. It's England's a bit disappointed, but the Euros overall been good. Like, it's a lot better than I thought it'd be. So at least that's entertaining.
You know what it is. So like, we were talking about this before with some of the other guys as well. I don't know what it is. I watch England, man. It's something it just riles me. Like England and Nigeria, I'd say probably, because I think it's your national team, and you don't see in national tournaments don't come around very often. So it just like the language is going to get more colourful. Trust me. Me and Souls haven't even warmed up yet. It's going to get even more colourful. So people, there's PG government health warning, and I tell you, if we get Holly Agambar on my channel, Jesus Christ, man, we need to. We'll probably get shut down. But no, big up to you guys for coming on. People, like I said, I'm the host, Albert JTV. Come and subscribe to the channel. And yes, we have the final Group D fixture for tomorrow. England versus Czech Republic. # Albert JTV. # England get the job done.